chance to shake your hand earlier. Kurt Eason. Remind me of your name? Jim?
I remember you from last time.
Wow. What?
Joined the
And you remember that I had air last time?
Yeah.
I did join, and it's a little long right now, actually. So it's been a couple of days.
have to get on it.
No, I'm not sure my wife is sold on this.
Hi, Christine. How are you doing? Oh, thanks, honey.
I'm not sure she is sold on this look yet, so
We shall see.
see how she adapts.
Oh, good. Very glad. How are you?
Like that royal blue. Thank you, baby. How are you?
I'm all right. Johnny said to send his love.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Hi, Jim. How are you?
I never did forget.
Yes, ma'am.
We've had an appointment on the book.
In November?
Yeah, that's not a problem. Problem is you have to do a blood test and to the court, then get medicine and work.
Okay. Let me get my calendar.
Okay, so
My phone's over there. Yeah, let me get my calendar. You know what? I forgot we were supposed to go to the VA appointment, huh?
no, we didn't do it.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Johnny reminded me of it after we got home from our anniversary trip. Okay, and they do it on what days, honey?
Maybe we do it. Okay.
Okay, I have to be,
I mean, with the date, the 11:30 or 1:30.
Monday, I gotta be in Temple for Heather. And that means Wednesday. I have a man's painter at 10. So I'll be done about 11 and then I have to make it. Alright. You said the 6 would be okay?
Yeah.
1:34. 1:34, okay. And we're going to the same place we went last time? Alright. I got you on the calendar. I like that. That's pretty. I'll put down 1 o'clock, so we're there by 1:30 when they open back up. And, on the 6th of November. Got it. No problem. No problem.
I see you. I see you, Doris. I see you, Doris. I can get you written down,
Or
baby.
they'll just talk loud.
How are you today?
You don't have your what?
I don't have my perfume.
You still sit, honey. Bye, baby. I'll get you written down, okay?
It's been too long, hasn't it? Good to see you, brother. Yes, you doing well? Good, I'm glad. Excuse me.
Younger by 13 months.
I saw him push it.
Good morning, how are you?
You're getting skinny, you're gonna blow away.
Good morning. It is good to be with you this morning. For those of you that don't know, my name's Kurt Eason, and I work with a mission effort that you support called Southern Africa Bible College. So, question is, who remembers Southern Africa Bible College or having heard about it? A few people? Great, great, great. Well, it is great to be back with you again. It's been a couple of years since I've been back. I got scared away. Paulette Danzy went to South Africa with me, and I was like, I don't want to be part of those people. I mean, that's what she's No, I'm just kidding. She's great, and we'll look forward to seeing her again. So before we get started, though, let me ask you a question and see what you think. When you think about a successful mission effort, so you're evaluating mission efforts and you're looking at them, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? Yes, ma'am. Teaching the Bible. Teaching the Bible as it is. Okay, great. What else? Bringing folks to Christ. Has some success, right? So that they're spreading the seeds, some people are responding. Okay. Anything else? To plant churches. Okay. Well, now you said develop churches. So what does that mean?
That actually means gathering the churches together so they come around identity with the body of Christ.
Okay, let me say that. Gathering people together to develop their own identity as a church. Okay, great. No, I like that. I like that. Anything else that you look for in a mission effort that you might be evaluating? I think those are all good. I think one thing that I would add is that it develops local leadership as well. So the local people take responsibility for spreading the gospel in their place, right? Well, yes, ma'am. The lady here? Presenting it in a loving way. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the, well, I don't want to get off too far. So I think as we go through the discussion about Southern Africa Bible College, what you'll see are all those things reflected, right? That's what we're doing, trying to grow, mature the local population. As a matter of fact, you'll find out here in a minute that we're completely led by South Africans now, right? I'm not in a leadership role there. I'm here just bringing their story to the people here in the States. So let's just go back on a brief history. So Southern Africa Bible College, or as you'll hear it's called several times by me and the people in the videos, SABS, because it originally founded as Southern Africa Bible School, was founded in 1966 under this tree. It's a chestnut tree outside of Benoni, South Africa, which is a suburb of Johannesburg. Just out of curiosity, has anybody ever been to South Africa before? Okay. So Johannesburg, city of 4 million people. Benoni is a suburb, today about 250,000 people. we're still kind of in the, I'd say in the country-ish, but we're not. City has kind of grown around us. But 1966, 5 students and 2 faculty members got together under this tree and said, we're going to reach the southern part of Africa with the gospel. Okay? So you put that in perspective. That's like 7 of us getting together and saying, we're going to reach the western half of the U.S. with the gospel. That's a big vision. That's a lot of people and a lot of land, right? That's about the size of Southern Africa, Sub-Saharan. Well, it turns out that after 58 years, we've had over 1,500 attendees from 30 different countries who are now preaching, teaching, evangelizing, and leading in over 50 countries around the world. So if you go to Scotland and Ireland, you'll find some of our graduates. If you go to New Zealand, you'll find some of our graduates. Eastern Europe, Asia, Ruidoso, New Mexico, Cleveland, Texas. I mean, they're everywhere, but mostly in those countries of Southern Africa. Okay? We have a 22-acre campus now with dorms for men and women, married student housing, faculty housing. We have a library that was built in 2000 to go with our accreditation, because we are now an accredited college offering a bachelor's degree in theology. But with all that growth and all that change, there's one thing that remains the same, and that's our purpose. Our purpose is to equip local people to preach, teach, evangelize, and lead in their part of the world. Okay, so that's kind of what I cover of a 58-year history, and I know that's a big overview. But even though it has a great history, I'm not involved with the school because of its history. I'm involved with the school because of its future. And I think we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, but I think 1,500 attendees in 58 years in 50 different countries pales in comparison to what we will see in the next 58 years until Jesus comes again. So, really appreciate your partnership in this effort. I want you to know that it is not only preparing people to preach, teach, evangelize, and lead, but that it's changing people's lives. People are coming to Christ because of it. So, let me let you hear from some of our students. This is Stanley. Stanley's from the northeastern part of South Africa. There are 12 official languages in South Africa. There's English, Afrikaans, South African Sign Language, and then 9 tribal languages. There were 9 different tribes in what was now the country of South Africa. So everyone will learn English in K through 12, right? But I grew up in South Texas and took Spanish a lot of those years, and I don't speak Spanish very well. They will speak it a little better. So some will be a little harder to understand. Stanley is one of those. And if you can pronounce his real name, not his Western name, for me after you hear the video, I'll be really impressed. But what you need to know about the northeastern part of South Africa, it's an area called Venda. The tribe was Venda. And it's got the largest Church of Christ in South Africa. About 800 to 1,000 in attendance. And about 300 of those are children 18 and under. So in the youth group and children's ministry. But they've also planted 65 other churches of Christ in their area by identifying quality individuals in their congregation, sending them to Southern Africa Bible College, and then letting them come back and plant a church. So they have over 65 churches of Christ now in that area using that method. Now this was done during his 3rd year, which is a 3-year program. And he didn't know what he was going to do when he graduated. So just want to keep that in mind. And also at the end, he's going to thank the sponsors that sponsored him. There's 2 congregations that combine to provide his sponsorship while he was in school. Let's see how this works.
I'm Namshungwa Nkwabeni Stanley. Yeah, I'm from Venda. My home congregation is Chidimbini Church of Christ. I'm doing my 3rd year. Then I was preaching they used to give me opportunity to teach. Then I felt like I need to know more about the Word of God. That's why I was like, no, let me go to Bible college and learn more about this. So that's the reason, the first reason. I want to preach the Word of God with confidence, because if you don't know what you're talking about, you can't have that confidence. So that's the first thing. I'm not sure if they will hire me as a full-time preacher, but even if they don't, I'm not going to stop to preach the Word of God. I can do evangelism, I can help here, and then basically I'm going to teach, I'm going to preach the Word of God with this knowledge I have while I'm doing my studies. So I there's something that I develop some interest in teaching, because this degree can help you. After this degree, you can go and apply for teaching, do maybe 1 year or 2 years there, because you have this degree. So I'm planning also to, I'm not sure if I'm going ahead, but I'm planning to go and learn teaching so that I can make some money. I think that's it. I just want to thank these brethren from Overseas Champions and Fifth Ward. I pray every day that God bless these brethren abundantly, because what they are doing, I've never experienced such love. They don't know me, but they make sure that they support me every month. So I thank you. I thank you, brethren from Fifth Ward and Champion Church of Christ. So that's what I can say.
He speaks so calmly, and but it's only because he's speaking in English. When he speaks in Venda, he's very passionate, and when he preaches, he certainly is quite a bit more passionate than that. But he's just so calm and seems unsure of himself and then speaking in English. But a couple of things. So number one, he's our typical male student. Our typical male student is 27 years old. They've got a degree in something else, or they've worked in industry, had a job in the secular world, but then said, no, wait a minute. The church is where my passion is. I want to be more effective. I want to know God better so I can teach him better, right? That's what he says. I want to be able to preach the word of God with confidence. And so they leave their career, leave their job, and come to school for 3 years. And they do this in an economy with about 50% unemployment. So they give up a lot to come to school, knowing that when they graduate, most likely, he doesn't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to hire me to be a full-time preacher. Only about 20% of our graduates get to be full-time preachers. The rest work secular jobs and preach. Now, I'll tell you, we're really excited. Stanley is now the youth minister for that congregation, the Chitterbeatty congregation that he came from, that 800,000 member congregation. By the way, did anybody get his first name? Did you hear him say it? No, didn't get that? Okay. Yeah, I didn't either. I don't either. So I'm happy that he goes by Stanley. But then also the reason that he comes. I want to know God better. Every video I have ever done, every video interview I've ever done, that's what the people say. I want to know God better. So that's our typical male student. We also have female students, and maybe I've shown you this video before, but I couldn't remember, so I put it in there. It's a great story. Have we talked about period poverty? Anybody ever heard that term? Okay, well, congratulations. Okay, so period poverty takes place in third world countries, but also here in the U.S., where a family is so poor they can't afford feminine hygiene products for their daughter. So their daughter ages up, starts their cycle, and the family says, we can't afford to provide hygiene products for you, so you're just going to have to stay at home from school or make do as best you can during that time. Or there's another option. We can afford that, but you're just a girl, so you don't need the education. So they don't provide. Or the third option is, well, you need to find an older man to take care of just no good options, right? So Pinky here, one of our students, she's not a typical female student. Our typical female student is 19, 20 years old, right out of high school. They're coming for 1 year, 2 years, maybe 3 years and get the degree. And then they'll go on to study something else, right? But she's 30 years old, and she came back to school while she had a family. And she said, well, I'll let you hear from her, but she started a ministry called Agape Flows. And Agape Flows collects donations from people in South Africa, and some in the U.S. have donated to it as well. And she goes out and makes presentations at schools and orphanages and churches and places like that, trying to make connections with the girls and then handing out hygiene products as well. So talking about the importance of education, the importance of Jesus, and then handing out hygiene products also. Let me just let you hear from Pinky.
Hello, my name is Pinky Makua. I'm turning 30 this Saturday. I'm married with 2 kids. There's a reason that I came here finally, because I think here I've kind of knew myself and like the things that I want to do. Because I think my plan is to be like to work with people, either nursing, social work. I was always interested in such things. So I think me being here is the reason that led to Agape and like finding out who I am, what I want to do. When I graduate next year, I'm planning to work on Agape, finding more sponsors, growing it, going to schools and orphanage homes, teaching girls about the importance of education, staying in school, and also giving them sanitary pads so that they don't have to miss school because they don't have. And I want to work with a congregation in Pretoria. I want to be in ladies' ministry, also teaching Sunday school. I'm so grateful because when you look at the fees that one has to pay when going to varsity or college, those fees are too much. And here we don't only get fees for tuition fees. We get paid accommodation, food, everything. We don't pay anything here. We just have to worry about our studies, which we are fortunate to have, because also this degree, you can help the church, not only help the church, but it can help you because you can study further using this degree. You can become a teacher, you can do counseling, you can be a chaplain. There are so many things that you can do, but I think the main focus of this is that you help the church. I think for me, that's why I want to help women and children, especially young girls, is because like when you see the church normally, though we know that men are supposed to teach, but I think we need a platform where as ladies we can sit down, talk to one another, teach each other about things, because there are things that when men are present we feel rather ashamed to share. So it's much easier when it's just us ladies. We can share our thoughts and prayers to encourage one another.
So she said that coming to school, coming to SAB, is where she found out what her purpose is, what she's supposed to be doing. But also the fact that because they get a bachelor's degree from us, they can study for 1 or 2 more years and get what they call an honors degree, and they can be a teacher, they can be a social worker, they can go into some other field with just another year or 2 of study. So it's really one of the blessings. And then I want to just address what our women do. Our women are not going out into the churches and making a living, being full-time ministers or anything like that, but they're doing incredible work. One of the problems we have in South Africa is that churches are growing, and they're trying to develop Sunday school classes and other ministries to reach out into the community. And our ladies are certainly writing a lot of that curriculum, teaching other people how to teach, things like that, and doing incredible work. For instance, I'll tell you about Zameli and Amanda. Zameli and Amanda met at SABS and then graduated, and they moved back to Middelburg, which is about an hour east of Johannesburg. And they went to a small church there, where his family is from, but still probably 15 or 20 people at it. And they'd never had anybody working there full time. Well, he said, this is what I'm going to do. And they started a side hustle of selling washing powder. They developed the washing powder and they would sell it to people. And so that's how they made their living, along with a little bit of support from people at the church. But he started preaching, started working with the people that were there, helping them mature and grow, and she started reaching out in the community where she was bringing 40 kids from the community into Sunday school and teaching them. And they've been doing that so long, now they have a youth group, they have a men's ministry, they have a ladies' ministry, they still have the children's ministry going and going and going. And so that congregation has really developed, and it's in large part due to her work in the community with the kids. And that happens, that's not just that one story. Okay. Let me skip on. This is the Chiawela congregation in Soweto, South Africa. If you've ever heard of South Africa and South African history, Soweto plays a major role in it. It's where Nelson Mandela lived. Desmond Tutu lived there as well. But a lot of things took place in that part of the world to end apartheid. But this is a congregation called Chiawela. And what you're seeing is the installation of deacons. That congregation has been around for 50 years, but it wasn't until one of their older members, I say older, I got to stop saying that. He's only a few years older than I am now. He was 60 when he retired, and he said, how can I give back to God? He said, well, I'm going to go to Southern Africa Bible College at 60 years old and learn how I can minister better to my community. Matter of fact, he just sent me a video the other day of a ministry that they've started where they're bringing in people from the community, and the local clinic comes in, and they're helping them out with their health and teaching them all different things about health. But then also they're doing this at the church building and making those connections for the church. Anyways, so he's been there. He's going to go to school and learn more. Well, they've never had really a connection to Southern Africa Bible College, an hour and a half away, not really a close connection. But he started getting our students to come over to the church and work with them. And then they hired their first full-time minister after 50 years. And what they found was the congregation of 100 in less than a year grew to 200. But that's not just all. Then they appointed their first elders. Then they appointed their first deacon. And so the congregation is not only growing in numbers, but it's maturing and it's developing. And this is Francis, and he is the gentleman I told you about. And I want you to hear what he says about Southern Africa Bible College and the role it and you are playing in the church in South Africa.
But honestly speaking, if you do have a congregation without somebody from SAPS, from the Bible College, you better think twice or more, because you will never succeed. I've got experience before and after from Chiawela, because I congregated there since I got baptized. There was no one from the Bible College. After that, because you'll be working more harder, because you know you have a knowledge now of the Bible from the college, your increase, it will be more than 60% or 100%, because you have knowledge. And again, you're not going to spend time arguing with the people. It's not necessary for you, because now you know. You got a knowledge from the Bible. I will really say, please, if there's our brethren there outside in South Africa, let's encourage more people to come to the Bible College, because that's our future.
So he says, don't have graduates in the school. They bring knowledge not only of Scripture, but of how to organize ministries, how to reach out to the community. You do have one, you'll succeed. You have your return will be 50, 60, 100%. And then he says, this is our future. And that's, I don't know about you, but as someone who spends the time raising money for this is what excites me the most. When the local people say, this is our future, this is the future of the church in Southern Africa. Let me mention just a couple of things, and then I'll be happy to take some questions, if that's okay, if you have some questions. So a couple of things I want to talk about, kind of call them quick facts. So first of all, the Memorial Church of Christ in Houston is the overseeing congregation for this work and has been for many years and is completely dedicated to this work. Matter of fact, in June, we took our largest group ever. We took 40 people from 14 up to 65. I think that's right. And spent a week and a half on campus, did a VBS, and really just built relationships with the work. So the Memorial Church of Christ is completely dedicated and behind this work. Secondly, I mentioned earlier, the work is completely led by South Africans. Our board of directors are South African. Hubert Ramagwedi is one of our board members. He's been on the board for probably 25 years. He's a chemist by trade. Now he has a company he started that does security, does cell phone service, does manufacturing and construction. I mean, he's just involved in all kinds of stuff. He's a quality individual who also serves as an elder in the church. And Tom King, who is actually of Scottish descent, but he's lived in Benoni for 45 years and was the head of Siemens African finance operation. Again, it's very accomplished individuals who love the work and stand behind it. Secondly, South Africans give a significant and growing amount to the college every year. So this is not just Americans sending American money and American people and saying, hey, we'll take care of this for you. This is South Africans who sacrifice to give financially to the work. Matter of fact, I mentioned that Memorial's overseeing congregation. Well, they're also the largest supporting congregation. But you know, our second largest supporting congregation is the Ashley Gardens Church of Christ in Pretoria. Our third largest supporting congregation is the Benoni Church of Christ, where the school is located. And then so individuals also give. So they're completely behind the work. Okay, what questions do you have? Oh, by the way, we also just appointed our fourth CEO in our 58-year history. His name is Marcel Berg. He was a youth minister and preacher, part-time. His career was spent in finance for a paper company in South Africa. And he's 49 years old with an 11-year-old son and a wife, and he left that career to take over running the school. And he's brought a whole new life to the work, a new direction, so we're really excited about where we're going in the future. Any questions? Questions? Yes, ma'am.
No, I don't.
Oh, startled me too. I didn't know if he's going to attack you or what. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I don't know much about her, but my grandfather's grandmother was from Ethiopia.
Uh-huh.
And that's as much as my family has been willing to go, but not me. Can you tell me something about what goes on in Ethiopia?
Ooh, I wish I could. I know that just a couple of years ago, we had our first student from Ethiopia. But you know, Africa is really big. So if you take two USs from California to New York and put them end to end, that's how far it is from Cape Town to Cairo, right? So it's very large. And sub-Saharan Africa is very different than North Africa for history and just the development over the years. So I wish I could tell you, but I don't know. I just know that we had our first student from Ethiopia a few years ago. So, sorry. Yes, sir.
Pertaining to outreach and spreading the gospel, do they have similarities? I know we have not done it in a while, but do they do like door knocking, stuff like this? Reaching the young people? Do they use social media? What do they use to engage to make it more easy, so that people are knowledgeable that, hey, we are here and we would like you to know about God?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, they do all of that. I would think that anything you can think of is what they've done. Social media. Matter of fact, TV has become a big deal. In COVID, you know, they too shut down. And so a church said, look, we can't have services. We're going to buy some time on a religious TV station and broadcast our service. Well, it was kind of expensive, but they sucked it up. They did it for a while, and they said, oh, we just can't keep this up. And so they contacted the TV station, said, we're going to have to stop. And they said, well, wait a minute. We'll redo your contract. You're the most popular program we have. And so they kept it going and kept it going. And they found that in one area, they had like 200 or 300,000 people viewing it. And in one particular area, there's 70,000 people. So they're really focusing. They put World Bible School information on the program. They put SAB's information on the program. And they try to make connections, give a phone number for them to call in. That's just one way. But yes, social media is a big thing. Even though it's, South Africa is the largest economy in Africa, still has 50% unemployment, still has a lot of haves and a lot of have-nots. Everybody's got a cell phone. So they don't have unlimited data, but everybody's got a cell phone. And so they use cell phones to reach out, and to WhatsApp is a big thing over there. Do a lot of door knocking, and then also outreaches to bring people into the community, like Francis was talking about. Yeah, great question. One more thing. The other thing, the problem we have, I mentioned the church is growing, but really the problem we have in South Africa is that people are receptive to the gospel, right? Well, it is if you don't have preachers, teachers, evangelists, and church leaders out there. You leave fruit to rot on the vine, right? So you've got to get as many people. And we're not sending American missionaries to South Africa. I don't know of any Americans going to South Africa as missionaries. So who's going to reach them if it's not the local people? So, yeah, okay, go ahead.
I am a member of the Church of Christ at Eastside in Austin, Texas.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And we had someone to come and speak with us who works over there. The reason I found out, I have a cousin that went over to Africa to dig wells for people to have water. And that's how we found out about the grandmother. When he went over there, he did research. Well, the preacher that came to the church, like I said, I think he was teaching or helping out in Ethiopia or whatever. But I'm a little disappointed. My family is so stretched out, and I think it hurts me because I get the message. Well, why do you want to worry about that? Why do you want to know that? So, anyway.
Yeah. Well, George Williams is a friend, and I've known him since I lived in Austin. And then Sharon,
Yes.
Last name Jackson, Sharon Jackson, has been with us several times. I'm disappointed she's not going with us in 2025. So I know, but you are. Okay, Paulette's going again, her second time. So just come on. All right. Just make your plans, talk to her, let's talk about it, okay? Any other questions? One more question. Yes, sir.
The question has to do with primarily finances.
Yeah.
First question is the staff, is there paid staff on site?
Mm-hmm.
Do the students pay any tuition? Those kind of.
Okay. Sure. The staff is paid. Part of their compensation is housing, so we provide housing for many of them. Not that that's a great model. I think we found in the church that that's not really the best model to give a preacher a house all the time. And students do not pay tuition. Some can, most can't. But the reason they don't pay is because we see it as we're preparing them to go work in the kingdom. Like Pinky said, this degree is not just about me. This is about serving the church. And they're not going to get rich serving the church. They're leaving behind careers to come. They're dedicating their future to to a career that's not going to pay them all the time, and certainly not always pay them well. So we feel it's the advantage to the church to provide their education. Now, having said that, you can't just walk up and say, hey, I want a free education. I deserve it, right?
Yeah.
There are very strict policies in place, and you have to have recommendations from your congregation saying this is somebody worth spending the money on.
Is the staff paid directly from the college?
The college.
Or do they obtain support somewhat like some of our professors at Sunset?
Okay, no, they're paid directly from the college. Having said that, one or two of our staff members, especially newer ones, like I say, we're entering a new era with a new CEO that started in January, and we also hired a director of development, a fundraiser for South Africa. So they're already giving, and they want to encourage people to give more. So they've already been involved with World Bible School and doing many other things with them, and so they get some support from the states for those things, but all of our staff are paid by the college. There's maybe one or two getting a little support from the states. Students are all housed there. We've got, 10 rooms, 40 dorm rooms, married student housing, probably 3 or 4 married student houses. The cost to support a student fully for a year is $8,400. So about $700 a month. South Africa is a little cheaper to live, but it's not, I mean, it's still a developed country and things are still high. Right? So expensive. Great. Okay. Let's see. So, what does it take to have a successful mission effort? Well, it might surprise you. Well, it takes you. Okay? We have, like I say, the Memorial Church is the overseeing congregation. We have 70 churches that give to the work here in the States. We have over 200 individuals that give at all different levels. Right? So, not just thinking about Southern Africa Bible College, all right? I want you to think about missions in general. Who wants to be a missionary? Who wants to get up, pack up their stuff, and go to South Africa or go to Eastern Europe or go to Asia and move today? Anybody ready? How about next year? You want to go next year? India? No, I'm not going. I can't do that. Okay, so here's my challenge to each one of you to be missionaries individually. Number one, find a mission effort that you have a passion for. It doesn't have to be sad. It can be. It doesn't have to be. But just find one mission effort that you have a passion for. Is it who's doing the work, where the work's being done, the kind of work that's being done? What is it that you go, man, I like that work, and connect to it? For us, it's signing up for a monthly email newsletter. Has videos like we've just seen, information about what's going on. But you connect to that work and learn all you can about it. Ask questions. Read all the material, even as boring as some of the things I write. Just read it and get to know what's going on. Secondly, well, by the way, in order to connect, we just have a new newsletter came out. Go pick one up. It's on the back table. It's got some information about what's going on, things like that. Pick it up, read them. Got some old ones back there. Secondly, pray for the work regularly. I mean, I know I've been here, and it's been a couple of years. Have you prayed for Southern Africa Bible College in that time? No, you probably haven't thought about it. And that's okay. So here's my encouragement to you. When you find a mission effort that you have a passion for, pray for it regularly. Let me help you out with that. If you choose that to be Southern Africa Bible College, pick up a whole bunch of these notepads out back. Take as many as you want. But every time you use it, you have to pray for Southern Africa Bible College. Okay? That'll keep it at the forefront of your mind, help pray for us more often, and would really covet your prayers. So, but do that for any mission effort that you have a passion for. Pray for it regularly. Third, support it. Yeah, financially, yeah. Whatever level, doesn't matter. Right? If I know if you're giving 5, 10, 15, 100, 20,000, anybody want to give 20,000 today? open. If you're giving on a regular basis, I know you're praying for it. I know you're paying attention to what's going on, right? That means a lot to have that financial support. We have been very blessed lately by people who have left us in their estates, and that has been a huge blessing to help us get over some harm. So, something to consider. And then finally, introduce us to others. If you know somebody that might be interested in hearing about this work, whether it be another church or an individual, connect us. It'd mean a lot. It'd mean a lot. I talked to a friend that was doing mission work in, it was further up in Africa. And he said, man, I've been supporting this preacher personally for 20 years now. And his kids are getting older, they're going to college. It's just taken everything I've got to support him. And I've been over to visit him and see the work. I know he's doing great work. I said, well, who have you told about it? I haven't told anybody. Right? You're getting meaning and purpose in life by supporting this work, and you're not giving that opportunity to other people. Introduce us to other people that might be interested in being part of it. And then finally, go visit the ministry. If you can't go personally, right, be a part of sending somebody that can. Okay? I'm putting a plug for you, Paulette. Whoever else wants to go. If you can't go personally, help give to somebody that can. And you don't have to listen to me, right? I just come here every couple of years. I could be lying through my teeth, right? I'm not, right? Okay, see, there you go. Thank you. I'm glad you stood up for a minute. But send somebody you trust to be part of it, to see it firsthand. It makes all the difference. So, just a couple of videos to end. I see we're running out of time. This is that church I was telling you about, Chitambini. This is their large gathering of kids. Might be loud. So it was amazing. The church set back off the main road. So you're going to have great roads, major expressways, well-paved roads, all that kind of stuff. But this church was set off the highway, and our bus turned down off the main road onto a dirt road, and then onto a smaller dirt road, and then we couldn't make it onto the smaller dirt road. So we had to get out and walk, and we were just in a sea of kids walking to church. Incredible. This is at a squatter camp, where our graduates started a ministry that feeds about 100 kids every day, as they've planted a church there that's now about 40 or 50. But these are some of the poorest of the poor in South Africa, and yet they're singing about seeing God in everything they look at around them.
Look at the mountains, look at the sea, take your time and just look around, Begging Daba, begging Bifula, Tatis Katis, so good you begin.
So next trip is April of 2025, April 2nd through the 14th. We'll be doing Bible teacher workshops and working with the different ministries that we've talked about. We'll also go in August of 2025, and that will be to do a VBS on campus. We did this for the first time in June, had over 300 people attend, had a VBS, about 120 kids, 80 youth group members, another 100 and something adults, and just had a really good experience. So I invite you to come and be a part of that. We're doing overnight safari too, hopefully see some of the animals. And then I want to let you hear one more time, real quick, from the students.
We want to thank you all.
We want to thank you all. We want to thank you all. May God be with you. We want to thank you all. We want to thank you all. We want to thank you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I wanted to let you know I went over in Bible class. I will not go over in the sermon. Okay? I'll be happy to answer any questions for you. Thank you. You've heard that too.